we are in the mind control. We are in the programming, and we are moving out of it. We are at the end of this game, and because we are evolving like a multidimensional being, we get more memories back, and it comes and it comes. It doesn't take any hard work. No, it's just there because, like you said, your soul is the great collector of all experience you've been through as aspects of self.
Sonja, thank you so much for taking the time. I'm truly looking forward to this conversation. I heard you on the Biba Frequency podcast, one of my friends and companions in this world of consciousness. She has a podcast, and for whatever reason, I was drawn. Maybe she lured me in by her title. I don't know, but there was some type of attraction there regarding me clicking on that episode. And I listened to your episode, and I have to say, I was pleasantly surprised about your journey and about your philosophy on life and consciousness, and also kind of blown away by some of the theories and the concepts that you discuss in that episode. You shook me up a little bit there, Sonja. And I'm very grateful and honored that you would take the time to join me on this platform to discuss some of that. So thank you.
You're very welcome, Trey. And I'm glad to be here, to see your face, to hear your voice. And I'm also curious about your journey. So you tell me all about that also, okay?
I won't hold back if you don't.
Okay, that's a promise.
You hold me accountable, I will hold you accountable in this conversation.
Yeah. Okay, true.
So let's start from the beginning. You are a very intense being of energy. How did you cultivate this intensity? Was it from your past professional life, or was it naturally a gift that you possess?
I would say it's a naturally gift. Yeah, I'm a little bit of a handful. So yeah, it's natural. Yeah. I know that when I walk into a room, I'm really there, and people notice me. Even if I stay quiet or just I'm there. Yeah. It's something in my energy that is either you love me or either you dislike me. You have two choices. Yeah. So I noticed that when I was young, people around me, they tried to diminish me or make me smaller. And I wouldn't allow that, because I know that I have a foundation in myself that is so significant, so big, that makes me so unique, just like everybody else, of course. But it's not something you can destroy. No, it's in you.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love your intensity. Now, you had a previous to this point in time, you had a long career in the military. I can only imagine what that's like, dealing with Sonja from the military. That intensity, right? Can you talk a little bit about that? Like, so some people may have an issue with, relating military with spirituality, because it seems like there's two different, they're definitely two different worlds. How did you converge both of them together and create something new?
Yeah, like I said, it's something that's deep inside of you. You cannot deny it. You cannot make it go away. So it's always there. But I noticed that in the military, there's no space or room for being you. You pledge your loyalty to your king. In that time, it was our queen. And you give away your loyalty. So if you take back your loyalty and combine it with spirituality, It makes you different. It makes you unique but different. Yeah. So it was a difficult time for me, I could say. Yeah. Because
Well,
you cannot
was there
deny.
anything in particular that made it difficult? Right. Because I feel like a lot of people can find spirituality in hard situations because of the military, like men that go to war, men that see battle, men that
Mhm.
are in the shit. Right.
Yeah.
I have never experienced that. However, I've spoken with many men and women that have experienced that, and they have found spirituality, although they didn't know what that was in that time. During that
Mm-hmm.
moment, they didn't know that was spirituality, but they experienced it. And it's, was it something similar to that for you, or was it just like over time, just all the things happen pointing you in that direction?
Good question, Trey. Let me feel about that one, because it comes so naturally for me that your question is something like I have to really go into my brain. How did I do that? Because yeah, it's something I possess, and it's also something I never denied. So for me, when I was on my ship, for example, or in Afghanistan, or wherever in Norway with the Marines, I just feel that my intuition always guided me, and I always spoke my truth. So for me, it was a natural thing. And later on, I discovered that spirituality is something you can give many forms to. So at that time, I started with my tarot cards. And with the cards, I could provide colleagues of mine with some, yeah, information about themselves. So that's where it really started for me, to put it out there, get it in the open. Yeah.
Was there
And
any
they find
blowback
it,
on that?
sorry?
Was there any like resistance to that?
Yeah. I was strange, of course. Um, and I noticed that when I drew the cards for my colleagues, they would not see me the next day. They just went by me because I knew some things about them. They didn't want me to know, of course, but I do know. I did know. So um, it, I find that a strange thing in spirituality, when you can read somebody and you know things about them, they just ignore you afterwards. Yeah, that I find that very difficult, because I'm still me, and I keep all the information for myself. So that really shook me up a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. But
What
I
do you think
never
that
stopped.
is, right? Why do you think people do that? Is it the shame
Yeah.
of someone
Yeah.
seeing us, actually seeing us for who we are, truly who we are?
Oh, yeah. I can see right through people. And I
Like
do
even
not need,
without the tarot cards, you can see right
oh,
through
yeah.
people.
I do not need the tarot cards, because it's just a tool, just a
Hmm.
tool. But I can read people very good. And I always tell people, I told people what I saw, but they didn't really appreciate it, because I have a great opinion, and I'm not holding back. So I just spit it out.
How did you learn to trust that intuition, right? Like when you
I never,
say something to people,
I never questioned it. It just comes out. I
it just
feel
comes out,
like,
right?
I feel like it's just your greater being, you know, that great being in yourself, like your creator being. It speaks the truth all the time, and you cannot hold it back. It's not possible. No, for me, it's not possible. How is that for you? When your greater being speaks to you?
I'm learning to trust that more and what that feels like for me.
Mm.
Like the difference between when I'm in my head doubting and then when I'm allowing the flow of truth to flow through me and allowing
Mm-hmm.
it to speak and not hold back or resist because I'm afraid of what that content may be. Right. Like I feel like I've restricted a lot of conversations, especially on the podcast, because I was afraid of what would come out. And I'm learning to trust more and take the mask off, if that makes sense. The masks that
Yeah.
I wear throughout the day and
Is
what
that your
I persona,
mm-hmm.
right? Like right now, like I could, you know,
Yeah.
allow people to see me for who I am. And that I think I shouldn't even say I've been taught. My reality has mirrored back to me or imprinted on me that we just don't talk about those things or we don't do those things. And so working through that paradigm and finding my own truth in that and what is truth in a capital T, I think it flows all through us all the time, but we have so many restrictions on it because of the limiting beliefs, right? And when did you start seeing the truth for you? Like, when did you start realizing the truth was your truth?
Yeah, I was so young. I was so young, and I already knew I was someone special. And I think all the children have that kind of feeling inside of them. And I spoke it out to my parents, but my mother always said, everybody is unique, Sonja, not just you. And I said, no, I feel that there's a difference, because I don't know what it is, but now I know it's a great mission. And my truth, the real truth in this reality, came forward when I was living in Amsterdam. And there are so many people in Amsterdam, different cultures, and the government just threw some things in this reality that I thought, what? Really? And then I woke up, because then I discovered that the duality and the conquer and control from the government was real. Yeah.
Like a psych op, almost like a psychological operation, like a disinformation type of event, kind of like what we're seeing in New Jersey right now.
Yeah. It divides.
Are you aware of what's happening in New Jersey with the drones?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What is your thoughts on that?
Whew. I have to find the words for that. I think that this is from the bottom up, the first layer, and it's all military. And behind that's another layer and another layer. But what is the real layer? And then we talk about multidimensional layers, what's presenting there. So what we are seeing is just a smoke curtain. Yeah. For this point in time, I can see it like that. Maybe if you ask me about a week from now, it could be different. But for now, this is how I see it. Yeah.
How do you so we're all given the same, we're all given information about what's happening. Like people are seeing things in the sky, right? Some people are seeing different things in the sky than other people are seeing. Some people are seeing like actual drones, and some people are seeing orbs. And I think there is a lot of misinformation floating around, and you're starting to see evidence of manipulation, I think, for me anyway. What would your recommendation be for people like going through this time now, where you have experienced professionally, having that professional experience and authority because of your background in government or in defense, and seeing what's happening in reality right now? How would you advise individuals to proceed in their journeys through this reality and discerning information for themselves?
Yeah, a couple of things, Trey. Doubt all the time. And everything you put in your mind is becoming the lenses you see through. So my perspective of things is totally different from yours, I know. But I realize that everything you put into your mind, or they put into your mind, that's the way you see your reality. And you have to be so keen on that. So keen. Because when you look at the ground to search for a nickel or a dime, you're not looking up. But your reality is to look at the ground. But you need to be full perspective about what is happening in this reality. And another thing is, for me, if you want to stay anchored in this time where so much information is coming in this reality, and you do not want to lose your mind, you have to stay grounded with your mother planet, your mother earth, Mother Sophia. So things are getting pretty
intense, right?
Intense. Yeah.
It's accelerating.
Yeah.
I think what's interesting to me, you are a QHT practitioner, correct?
Yeah. I
So
call
you,
it a little bit different, but yeah.
sure. That's where you got started though, right? Like the main foundation of your work, or no?
No, it goes back many years ago. I did a lot of training and a lot of education in the spiritual world. At one point in my life, I just noticed that there was so many narratives in the spiritual world that I had to make I had to make it two worlds, because in one world you are experiencing spirituality in like an organic way, in natural love and life, and the other side is the synthetic reality of spirituality. And once you figure that out through all your education in the spiritual world, you just can go one way. I just had to go one way, and that's moving out fast from the synthetic spirituality to the organic fields of what is spirituality. So my journey goes back a long time ago, but I found QHT to be the perfect base to explore the organic fields of spirituality. Does that make sense?
It does. I mean, I feel like, so from what I'm hearing is that there is a natural way of interacting with consciousness, and then there is you call synthetic world of spirituality. Synthetic is in that it is a mask for something else, or it is tainted in a way.
It's just like the Matrix. It's in this cosmic arena where we are in at this moment in time, and we have been here for a long, long time. But in this reality of the Matrix, it's like a synthetic reality. It's just like a layer they put over the real world. It's not like we live in a simulation. No, it's just a reality that is disformed. And the God Matrix, we talked about the God Matrix, because this Matrix has a God, and he is super real. Or she, I don't know. It could be both. But this being, this entity, no, I think it's a being, because it has consciousness and it has a soul. It's just like somebody like you and me, because this God Matrix is walking on this earth right now as a human being also. Can you imagine?
It could be you right now talking to me.
It could be me. I think I've already been it, but okay, because no,
so why don't we do this, right?
Yeah.
Can you explain the God Matrix so people listening to this right now who are like, what is she talking about? Can you just kind of dissect that a little bit and unpack that for them?
Woo! I do
the
not
best of your
want
ability.
The best in my ability, yeah, because I do not want to make anybody feel bad in their in their religion, in their belief systems. But you come to a point in your life that you realize that the whole religion thing is just God Matrix, the God Matrix. This entity, this being, is the great God of this matrix and this reality we are in. And you can find it in everything. I know it's difficult to believe, but in my sessions, people always encounter the God matrix. And I can see it through my heart soul essence that they are really encountering the God matrix. It's just that system is so big. It's just like his tentacles are in everything you encounter in this world, in this reality. I'm sorry, not this world, because this world is real, but this reality. Yeah. So, for example, how many gods do we have in this world? How many belief systems do we have? I'm not sure. It could be like a couple of hundreds. But if you take the pyramid, at the top of the pyramid, you always see that eye, It's like in your dollar bills, it's the big eye that's there. That's the God matrix. And in this universe, we are in this part of the universe I call the cosmic arena. It's just like an arena. And the God matrix, he's the big boss. Yeah. And now, and in this point in time, we are also meeting the technical intelligence God. So these entities, these beings are real. And they need your energy. So every time you say something like, oh my God, you're giving away your powers, your energy directly to this being. And you have to be aware of this entity in this cosmic arena. I call it the forces of limitation. The forces of limitation you encounter every day. It's something outside of yourself that is holding you back or is making you feel like it all goes in your mind. It's the world in your mind. It's the mind control matrix. And the God matrix is the big CEO.
It's funny, Biba, I had a conversation with her yesterday and she said God matrix, and she's like, immediately knew. She's like, uh-oh, the trigger word for Trey, the God matrix. And I'm like, so do you want my thoughts on this?
Yeah, please do. Please share.
So, yeah. and I discussed this with her. So I feel like, and this is strictly my thoughts. This is no theory. This is just me and what I have discerned for myself. All of what you're saying is true for you or for someone, just like my reality is true for me. And we all give our power away to something. Now, whether that's a God at the top of the pyramid, or if it's a ascended master, an angel, or something, like you're giving that power away by praying to that entity or asking for forgiveness from that entity, whatever. When I first heard of the God matrix, it really disturbed me because I didn't really understand or want to believe that. And I've read a lot of Robert Monroe's work and Tom Campbell's work. And Robert Monroe talks about Loosh. And I can remember being so angry at the end of his second book when he talks about the entities that created this space, this reality, and what they were doing with the Loosh and how they cultivated more of it. And then I had an interview with Tom Campbell, and he's like, oh, well, Bob Monroe misinterpreted the information that he was given from consciousness, the larger consciousness system, because that's not the way it is at all. My opinion about this is that we all have our own experience. Like to your point, right? We all have a lens that we like the pinpoint point of where I'm at right now in this reality is funneled down from somewhere to this moment. And because of what I've experienced in my life is how I paint my picture, is how I stroke the art of my life and how I interpret each brush stroke for meaning for me. And so when I hear that a God is manipulating this space to gain my energy, that really made me angry because of all the things that I've experienced up to this point and wanted to believe was true for me.
Oh yeah.
And I went into meditation, and I think we discussed about this, I'm not sure. And I just angrily, not to anyone, not to any God or any ascended master or to anything, I just said, why is it like this? Is this true? And the answer that I got back was like, even if it is true, what does it matter? What does it matter if you are the universe, or if you are the cosmos, if you are all of it, if you are source? There is no end to your being. There is no end to the energy that you could create. So in that theory, in that thought, give it all away. Give it all away. All the energy that you have, give it to whomever it is, and do it out of love. And I was like taken back. I was like, well, doesn't that defeat the purpose? Like, shouldn't I escape this place? Shouldn't I try to run away and escape? And it wasn't the answer. It was like love. It was just like, give it all away, because there is no end to who you are. It's the fear of these theories that keep us small. It's not until you step into that power of unconditional love in which you truly find who and what you are. And at the end of the day, I am thankful for the God Matrix. I am grateful for this God Matrix. I'm grateful for the society that continues to confuse the shit out of me. I am thankful for it all. The psyops, all of it.
Yeah.
Because at the end of it, I truly become something great. If I escape this God Matrix, if I get out of it, like the awareness and the knowing of how infinitely powerful I can be.
Yeah.
That is a gift.
That's it. This is it, Trey. What you're saying, what you're sharing with me, with us, I call it the outcome of the sum. I don't know how you say it, when you have to calculate something, it's the outcome. This is what you explained. So either you went through all and just remember how big you are. And for some other people, they have to take the journey to realize the greatness they carry in themselves, who they are, who they really are. It's just about remembering. So thank you for sharing that.
And it's not easy, like at all. Like to remember that comes a lot of pain. Like, in order to become a diamond, you have to go through it all. Like the destruction of self, the manipulation, the heat, the cold. You know, I went for a run today, and it was snowing out, and I got home and I did 80 pull-ups because the men's group that I'm a part of has set up a 10,000 pull-up challenge for the month of December. And it hurts. Like, we're almost at the end of December, and it hurts so bad. I did a cold plunge too right before that. And all of these things show me how strong I can be, right? Through the pain. Can I sit in the body during that session and be with the burning toes of 20-degree water with ice cubes and all the things? Can I sit in that with my awareness and cultivate an inner world of strength to where the external world does not bother me? Right? That's the muscle that I'm working.
Yeah. Yeah. So you went out of your comfort zone, and there's the growth.
There's the growth.
There's the growth. Yeah.
Where are you at? And are you outside of your comfort zone right now?
At this point, no. I'm in my comfort zone, I guess. I'm so tired, Trey. I am so exhausted. I do not know where it comes from. I can guess a little bit about that, but my body is feeling like it's 80 years old, maybe 90. I can sleep like 9-10 hours. And then when I wake up, I'm just like, did I sleep? So in the afternoon, sometimes I'm taking a nap. And this is like going on for about 3-4 months now. So what's happening? I went out of my comfort zone by leaving the Navy in June of this year. And it was like a career of almost 27 years of mind control, programming, and still figuring out who you are. So it was a big, big battle for me. So now I'm feeling like I'm taking a big, big winter sleep and just figuring out, who am I? And I have to turn inwards to do that. I really need to turn inwards. No exercising, limited exercising. I do not have any goals at this point in my life. No targets. Yeah, I have 5 cats, Trey, so this is number 2.
It's all good. Do me a favor. Can you shift that camera over a little bit more so I can see you?
Yeah.
There you go.
Wait a minute. So, is this better?
A little bit more. Yeah, just try to get centered as much as possible. That helps with the shot. Yep, right there. I think because we're so used to having guidelines when we're in our, because of the way that we've been educated through and structured through society, like there's a list of instructions and we all want to follow the instructions. It's when you really get outside, like to your point about you going outside of the Navy in June, and now you're in this place of, I don't know what's next, where you really find yourself. And not too many people can do that. Like I know for myself, it can really shift paradigms. It can make you feel uncomfortable because we are programmed, not just from society, but genetically to want to feel safe. So our human bodies have evolved grasping onto safety.
Yeah.
And that is coming from the survival mode energy centers in our bodies. And it isn't until we can get out of that, it's really all about breaking the programs. And people hear programs and they're like, they automatically want to think about mind control. It is that too, but it's also the programs in the body genetically made up to be a certain way and to express certain genes in different environments. If you want to express different genes genetically or find potential in the genes that are dormant in your body and actuate, the junk DNA that, I don't think is junk at all. I think it's just, potentiality waiting to be expressed in this reality. If you want to express that, you have to do something totally different. And I'm not saying quit your job, move somewhere and continue to the same routines. I'm talking about being thankful for your job that you freaking hate, being thankful for the shitty relationship that you're in. Right. And I know there's degrees to this. I'm not saying, obviously there's always a disclaimer after you say something like that, but I'm saying to the best of your ability, depending upon the health of that relationship, if it's not abusive, but if it's you, and the majority of the time is usually you mirroring your internal world and your outer, if you can be thankful for the challenge of getting up and facing all the things every day and improving yourself internally, your reality will change.
Oh yeah.
Start
definitely.
doing things differently.
Yeah.
Right. And you will have a different outcome.
Yeah.
Change that and you will see change.
Yeah. But it definitely helps to realize that we are in a co-creative process in this reality. We are in a co-creative process right now, Trey, because at a soul level, we wanted to meet right now. You taking a sip of your cup is also a co-creative process. Your soul already knew you were going to do that. Your soul already knows what people you're going to meet, the character players in your role, in your movie script. They are all there, and you have to be very grateful for everybody who you encounter on your path. They help you remember what it's all about. Everything you have to experience is because of all the people you meet, good, bad, small, big, everybody. That is the co-creative process. So I heard when you were saying, I like to thank the God matrix. Yes, of course. They're all role playing for us. We invited them in our lives, in our reality, just to wake up and remember. So this is a big cosmic arena, and we are all role playing for one another.
Here's a fun question for you. So what are we remembering?
You have to remember what you are to remember who you are. And we are multidimensional beings, creator beings. And we are having an experience right now on planet Earth, in this solar system, in this galaxy, in this cosmos, in this universe. But we are people right now. We're human people, the race, human race. And we are evolving from, here it comes, Homo sapien to Homo luminous. We are multidimensional. And we are, I heard the other guy you had a podcast with before me. I guess you put it on yesterday, something, the day before yesterday. And he was talking about the Matryoshka doll, the doll. And he was telling the truth, because we are multidimensional beings. I exist beyond this universe, and I'm infinite. I have no beginning, I have no end, and I was always there. I was never created. So one time I decided to explore this universe and all it offers me, to experience what it's like to be in this universe of light, this duality. So we all make the same journey. We all projected ourselves from the soul, I call it soul, in the heart of this universe, to go to the layers of, to really compromise ourselves. It's not compromised, but compressed, in a compressed form. So this is the smallest form of compression, and I'm big. So I'm very compressed right now as a human being. But at the same time, I've never been this big, because I contain all of this universe inside of me. So if you want to remember who you are, you have to think big. We have to think big. We have to realize that we are so compressed right now, but that our vessels, our bodies are stargates. And in this compression tray, we're not at the bottom of this universe. No, that's a lie also. We are just compressed as a human being, as a race, and we are exploring in consciousness, we're expanding in consciousness who we really are, multidimensional. And I exist beyond this universe. I am a universe beyond this universe, and I'm so much more than that. We have to remember. And this is all a play in the God Matrix kindergarten.
This is kindergarten.
Yeah, but once you realize it is a kindergarten and you have to be at the exit at the right time, it's fun.
Yeah. We're playing the game, and we forgot it's a game.
Yeah. You went through the veil, you went through the void.
Have you ever experienced the other dimensions?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I travel also with QHT. I call it multidimensional hypnotherapy with quantum healing hypnosis, because the quantum healing hypnosis is just a baseline, to make your jumps. And the multidimensional hypnotherapy, that is what I provide for my clients. And I travel also, of course.
Yeah. So when you're traveling, how do you experience those different dimensions? I mean, so I have had a session of hypnosis are you like Bob Monroe would leave his first body, his second body, and he would go as a point of consciousness? Have you ever experienced like how I'm seeing and looking at the room that I'm in now? Did you see it with that clarity, that physicality of it, or was it more through the mind's eye and the imagination that you experienced these dimensions?
It's different for everybody. So when I try to explain to you how I experience things, that's a difficult thing, because I have
Sure.
more like a knowing. I just know. I see it and I know it. So to give an example, okay? In one of my travels, I was in the pyramids. And there is another world that people cannot see, another dimension in the pyramids. And I just knew it was like that. So I was walking there and I was a big, big being. I was a really big being, and I could feel my feet touching the ground. And the way I moved, it was like a stump on the ground because I was so big. And I just went through the halls of the pyramid just to go to the room I was working in. So that is how I experience things. I just know, and it falls right open.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
To your point though, like it's very hard to describe one's experience to people.
Yeah.
Like we have a collective vocabulary on what we agree words mean, but when it comes down to experience, sometimes it's super hard to describe.
Yeah.
Like when I say imagination, everyone kind of scoffs at that word because of what scientists have said, how minuscule imagination is when it comes to evidence in the scientific arena. So I love imagination. I think that's where creation begins.
Yes.
Added with high vibe emotional states, and which, and sitting in the hard space, using your imagination to see that kind of elevates that feeling in the body, and then you create something, that there's a spark or something that happens. If you can envision it, it already exists. And people say that all the time, and I used to be like, what are you talking about? Like, it means it already exists. I mean, if you can envision it,
It's already
you've
there.
collapsed it. Like we've seen it in the collapsing of a wave particle into materiality. Like it happens. But people don't put a lot of stock in that because of the self-doubt. We've been told all of our lives how unworthy we are. Just for instance, it's funny when silence comes, like right now, like how uncomfortable one can be in silence, but it is from silence that everything manifests. Like the importance of that manifestation is because of silence. But we get uncomfortable with it because I know in my world, I associate silence with rejection. When I say something and no one says anything back, I automatically take it as, well, that was a dumb thing to say because I didn't get any response from that, or that I shouldn't have said that because it obviously didn't get the response that I wanted.
Yeah.
So we need to be more comfortable and getting outside of ourselves and playing in our imagination and not having a rule set to follow, but being a master creator and playing with it all and seeing what works for us individually, if that makes sense.
Oh, it makes totally sense. I always tell my clients, even if you think you're making it up, make it up. Imagine. Just create your own story, and you can feel you're moving in another dimension, but you have to speak. And when the words come, that's a difficulty. It's difficult to, words are a thing right now, because many people cannot find the right words to explain what they are feeling. And can you imagine when you use your imagination and you do not have the right words to explain what you're experiencing? So we have to move beyond words, the words that we know. We have to move beyond that and just feel. And the words come from your greater being. I'm positive about that. It happens to me. It happened to me. We have to move beyond what we know and just imagine. Just go with the flow. And there's something happening in your heart soul essence, because that is the way in. Your heart soul essence is just like a subquantum field in front of you. It's for some people it's easy to go by the heart, but it's like a subquantum field you can move into and then deep dive into your own multidimensional state of being. And then the magic happens. You go beyond the words. And even in the session, clients say, I cannot find any words for this. I say, yeah, I know. Just feel. Remember. Just remember.
Plato said it's all about remembering. Like everything, the soul already has everything inside of it. It's a game of remembering.
It is.
And this is like 2,500 years ago, and we're still talking about it. So why in the world don't we remember, right? Like why is it all about the mind? Why isn't it about the heart?
Yeah. Where are my words right now? Because I can feel it, what you're saying. It takes time, Trey. It really takes time because we are so rusty. We are really rusty because for about 6,000 years or so, we are in the mind control. We are in the programming, and we are moving out of it. We are at the end of this game, and because we are evolving like a multidimensional being, we get more memories back, and it comes and it comes. It doesn't take any hard work. No, it's just there because, like you said, your soul is the great collector of all experience you've been through as aspects of self. Like you, Trey, you exist probably like 1 trillion times in this universe, all parts of you. And all these parts of you, aspects of self, have experiences. And they all go back to the soul. The soul gets richer and richer and richer. And because we are awaking in our multidimensional state, the remembrance comes back of all these lives you are having at the same time. Because time is not linear, you know that. It's just like circular. So you are bringing back every part of you in this universe home, in this vessel. So the time of remembrance that we do not know who we are and what we are, we're getting there.
And I'm trying to find the words to like respond to this. I think that when we use words to describe an experience, we take away from that experience, right? Because we try to fit it into a box. Like when we talk about God, when I say the word God, it puts it in a box that I believe what God is. When I talk about Jesus, I put him in a box from what I understand, what I think he is or she. When I say anything about anything, I am taking that experience, the essence of that experience, the wholeness of that experience, and I'm narrowing it down to a point in a word. And people have different ideas and concepts of what words mean. I can say a word and trigger someone, but I don't mean it that way. Think about us as individuals, right? Like when people hear this multidimensional being word or words to describe what you are, it narrows it down. Like tray, the word tray, like narrows that essence down to a point, and people have preconceptions of what Trey is.
Yeah.
So I don't think we can fully understand what we are or what God is. When I hear God matrix, people automatically think fear because of their interpretations of what that means to them. But I don't think you fully understand what that means. I don't think you fully understand who you are until you experience something different, a non-ordinary state of consciousness, and then you have an experience, and then through the lens of who you are up to this point, you distinguish or decipher or unravel what that means to you. And then but it's crazy because we have so many interpretations of what something can mean. And that knowing is different for everyone. Like you had that experience as a giant with the pyramids, like you knew for yourself what that means, or someone could have the same experience and have a totally different knowing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think that's the beauty of it. I think that's the beauty of it, is so many different interpretations of a different experience, or maybe the same experience. Like, but that's, and I hate saying this, but it's like to know thyself. Like you got to look at all aspects of yourself.
That's a big one. That's a big one. To know yourself. That's what it's all about. For me. Yeah. Yeah.
But you got to do it from a place of compassion, right? Like you got to look at everything that you've done up to this point.
Yeah.
With acceptance, with a positive regard for self, with the lens of forgiveness, even like the darkest shit that you've ever done in your life.
Yeah.
Because you did it from a limited viewpoint of consciousness. Like you did it for a reason. You did it because that's where you were at.
Yeah, right. But the soul wants the experience, Trey. So we've been it all. We've been the bad guy. We've been the good guy. And we have to bring everything back into unity. That's what's happening right now. So you have to have compassion. You have to have self-love, of course. And when you do, you can never convict another person about doing the things they are doing and why they are doing it, because you've already done it and you've already been it. You've been the darkest God there could have been in this universe. I know I've collected souls. I have the memory about that. And now I'm doing, and I'm not talking about karma, because karma is just like putting things into balance. It's not a good or a bad thing. It's just happening. Everything you've been through, everything you've experienced is in that duality of light and dark. And everything is just like a wave. You have to bring the bad things and the good things of yourself into unity. And there it is. With compassion.
Sure. There is a lot of duality. There's a lot of duality. There's the duality of like people and belief systems of wanting to not, like speaking to karma, like karma, they keep you here in the body, right? They always want to get out and they want to leave this space, this place. And then you have the other side of the coin, the other side of the scale, where they're all about being human. And that could be like hedonistic almost, right? To where they're experiencing pleasure all the time because that's all they want. And I think there's a balance. I think there's a balance that you should, where it all meets. And I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, it's 0.0. Yeah, it is 100% that it's 0.0. But like it's like the cold plunge. Like nobody wants to get into the cold plunge. They want to stay out of it. But can you be in the cold plunge?
Yeah, in the bliss. You cannot be in the bliss all the time or in the light. It's not happening. And the funny thing is, Trey, I don't know if you know it, but the sun in this solar system, it's a living being. And it's here for a reason. Because it's exposing all your shadow from the outside. And you have to expose all your shadow from within. So it's co-creation.
So I heard one of my teachers, who I refer to as my teacher. He doesn't know he's my teacher, but he teaches me because I listen to him through podcast. So if consciousness is fundamental, if consciousness is this reality, like everything I look at is consciousness, because I'm the observer, right? So I'm collapsing this into my physicality, this reality. I'm collapsing this consciousness right now in my belief systems. This is a room. I'm speaking through a mic. I'm talking to you and having this conversation. Words are coming out of my mouth. And this is all because I believe this to be. So I'm creating that for myself. But if everything is consciousness, that means and consciousness is fundamental to this reality. That means that God is that consciousness, right? In the way that I believe God, like not God, like a being, but God as in everything, like all of it, right? Everything.
Yeah.
And so when I'm speaking to this mic, when I'm speaking to you, when I'm speaking or looking outside and see a tree, all of that is consciousness. So that is all, and it all has intelligence. So that is all God, right? Yeah. So when I'm speaking to you, I am speaking to that idea of what, or concept of what God can be. If it is consciousness, how do I serve that consciousness? How do I have reverence for that consciousness? When I speak to the tree, if it is consciousness, if it is that God essence, how do I treat that? Right? There is an interaction of frequencies between the two, and now you totally see it as different. So when you're looking at Sonja through the lens of Trey, I'm seeing God, right? Not God the being, but God the essence. Yeah. And so when you look at your wife, or you look at your son, or you look at your neighbor, right? How do you have reverence for God in that moment? Like, how can you be judgmental to that essence, right? That essence is teaching you something about yourself.
Yeah.
You know, my dog just passed away on the 7th of December. It was, our dog was a golden retriever. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we had her for 8 years, and she unexpectedly passed. And the amount of regret that I have because I didn't give her my full heart during those 8 years, the way that she gave me hers is there. The unconditional love, like I could, and I've said it so many times on this podcast recently, because I feel deeply about it, is I could be gone a week, 24 hours, 15 minutes, but whenever I walk through that door, it's the same response. It's the same excitement to see me, because she sees me for who I am, and she loves me unconditionally. We put conditions on our love.
Oh yeah.
Sonja says something I don't like, I don't give her my love. Yeah. And I will remember that for 15 years until Sonja apologizes to me. But my dog,
it works like that. Yeah.
You say something, my dog doesn't even hear it.
No.
But sees your heart.
Yeah.
I could yell at my dog for bringing down my underwear and socks into the living room. And then 2 seconds later, just lick me in my face and love me to death, right?
Yeah.
How can you walk through life and see other people the way that Gracie saw me? That is enlightenment. My dog was enlightened. She was my greatest teacher. And I laugh at that, but it's the truth.
Yeah, I'm not laughing because I know it's true. Like I said, I have 5 cats. I know what's like. Yeah. But you look at your dog with your heart. So this space is a special space. The heart soul essence. When your dog is looking at you, you make directly connection through the heart soul essence. Is that field of unity when you are connected with all life. That's what happening.
Sure.
You are connecting with all life.
But I didn't do that all the time. Like, I was the typical male owner of, like, you know, whenever she came close to me to give me that love, I would shoo her away. Get, I'm feeling something in my heart right now. Get, I can't feel it. Right. I'm a man. I'm macho, right? Like, I don't want to feel that love. It wasn't until I started doing the heart-centered exercises, when I started going on men's retreats and hanging out with brothers and experiencing this love and shedding away the armor and allowing it to be okay to feel that, in which I had more capacity to love something else than self. Right. And that regret, the regret of not saying goodbye, right? Of being able to say that I love you to her in the physical realm, right? I can go into a space mentally or through my heart and have that conversation with her, but like physically, she did her thing and left us, and I didn't physically get to express myself. So when I walk through my life now, it's like, you just never know when that opportunity is not going to be there. So how do you take advantage of that? Right. That's the biggest lesson from, and this again is coming from a dog, right?
Yeah. The greatest teacher.
Yeah. 100%.
Oh yeah. Wow. So do you have another dog? Did you get another dog?
We do not. We have been grieving her loss, and we're thinking about getting another dog. We went and saw a breeder. We have had conversations internally within our family about, is this the right thing to do? We want to heal. It's very hard to have with the kids, especially, to have those conversations about loss and grief, but to allow them to express it like in a healthy way. I mean, just to feel it, right? That's the way to express it, like the cathartic release of that loss, because it ultimately is a loss of self. It's a loss of who you are, and you'll never get that back. A piece of you, a piece of you.
Yeah.
And so we're thinking about it, but it's weird having, being used to the sound of her collar, the rattling of that, and then her barking at people that come up. Like, the hardest part about this, and this sounds weird, is that now I have to pick up food off the ground. Like, you're making food or something, and then something drops, and now I have I gotta pick it up now.
Yeah. But Trey, there's so much space in your heart for all the memories that you had with your dog. And when I opened that door and I look at the memories my cats gave me, for example, I just get a smile on my face. And I just say, thank you so much for 100%. Being in my life and walking the path with me, because they are there for a reason. And you just explained. But you need to let go the things that you say about, I have regrets.
Yeah.
Things, the image is freezing. It's my connection here, I guess. Yeah.
It's all good. I think the regret is, I think it's a gift that she gave me, unnoticed to me, that again, another lesson, like the gift of and how do I word this, right? Like, how do I find the words to describe this gift? The gift of being in each moment, of like not being distracted, but actually being in the moment with someone or something. Like, can you go out and be with your cat? Like, right now, as the cat is sitting here on the table with the laptop, like, I know you're trying to have a conversation, but aside from that, can you be in each moment 100% present with that and see it for what it is?
Yeah, but I know what he wants. He wants food. And he's letting me know like this, sitting on my lap, going off, sitting on, going off. Yeah, that's my cat. Yeah.
But we think
he
it, you
wants
know,
food.
it's distracting us from having this, being present in this moment with someone else and having that conversation, right? But it's just I look at it even with my kids, they were like coming in the room here as we're having this conversation, and the old me is like, get out, you know, but it's just kind of like,
Yeah.
allow it, like allow the
Yeah.
unexpected to come into your life.
Yeah.
Like get rid of the norms almost of what you should or what shouldn't take place during a conversation on a podcast. Right? That's the beauty, that's the realness of life.
Yeah. That is who you are. That is coming home to who you really are. Just let life happen. And don't react from a trigger or a wound or whatever. Just let it go. Let it happen. I know. That's coming back to yourself. Yeah. And just allow things to go in a flow. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Being like, you know, where we're at in society and in this world and everything that we're experiencing politically, and with going back to the drones, because I think it's fun to talk about, to shake people up a little bit. So do you think we'll experience more interactions with interdimensional beings? And then what's your best advice to those who this seems very foreign to, if that makes sense? Like how do you, like someone who is not plugged into this world at all, that has no ideas about interdimensional beings, like what's your advice to them if we start seeing more orbs come down or more interdimensional things happen that the government's trying to cover up? Like how do you help them, I guess, process that existential shock?
I think a lot of people are going to lose their minds. There is so much information coming into this reality in the months that are coming. And I told you earlier that you have to stay grounded and you have to connect. This is how I see it. If you do not want to lose your mind with the things that are coming, you have to stay in contact, relationship with your mother planet. That's Mother Earth. That's Mother Sophia. Go into nature. Just connect. I know it sounds like a classical, typical advice, but it's the truth, because we have to remember, where are we? Not only who are we and what are we, or what are we and who are we, but also where are you? People have no idea because we never get that education on school. Never. Who is your mother planet? Hey, I am an alien in a human vessel. So every alien has a planet, right? So this is my mother planet, planet Earth. And what is your relationship with your planet? Just connect with the solar system, this planet. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's making me laugh, because that's where it all begins. You cannot jump over things, like jump over yourself to want to know if you're multidimensional. You have to get to know yourself. You just said it. Know yourself, but know where you are. Like, where are you? What is this planet? And the drones, yeah, of course, they're coming, and the extraterrestrials are coming. They are really coming. And many people are going to lose their minds. But there's one thing you can do, is to stabilize your relationship with your mother planet.
She gives us her unconditional love all the time, right?
And recognize her for who she is. She is facilitating your stay here in this vessel. She's carrying your vessel, your incarnation, who is right here, right now. And who is that incarnation then? Trey, who are you? They're all big questions, but you have to start somewhere, I guess. And that starting somewhere is for me to know in this reality where and what and with whom do you have a relationship.
Yeah.
So the things that are coming, yeah, they're really going to blow your mind.
Do you think that extraterrestrials are coming to save us, or do you think they are?
No, sorry, no. You have to save yourself. If you look, Trey, okay, I'm gonna tell it because I am multidimensional and I've been in galactic wars, okay? So why do I want to engage with extraterrestrial who are saving me? Because I don't know where I'm going, but I had to say this probably, but nobody's going to save you. You have to save yourself by getting to know who you really are. And if everybody is coming with some advice or information about who we are, but the only one who really knows, that is you. Because you are multidimensional. You've been it all. You've done it all. You just forgot. You need to remember. Sorry, I'm speaking from passion right now. You need to remember who you are. And nobody, no Nordic, no Pleiadian or whatever is going to tell me in this reality. Well, they are all speaking from their own culture and their own narratives, all belief systems. The first question that I have is, what is it that you believe? What is your belief system? That's the first question I have. And what are you going to tell me about your belief system? Because we all are programmed in some kind of religions and systems here on Earth, but it's no difference from the galaxy or the cosmos.
Sure. I like to frame it this way. And when it comes to belief systems, people are like, what are you talking about? My belief systems. I don't have a belief system. You do have a belief system. Like if you were, let's say you showed up on Earth for the first time today. This is the first time you never heard of Earth. You don't even know what's happening, but you're placed here today. And I asked you, what is your purpose here? I don't know. I don't even know what this place is. Let me go wander around a little bit and interact with the beings that are already here. And then you start interacting with those beings and you start learning about who they are and you see how they live. And you're like, oh, okay, well, that's success. Let me get a phone so I can talk to these people. I'm going to get some social media. I'm going to get a Facebook account, Instagram account. Oh, that's what success looks like. Is that what I should be doing? Right.
Copy that.
Yeah. So this is my purpose. I want to X, Y, and Z because everyone else is doing that. Yeah. So yes, you have a belief system, and it's not like a bad thing. No. It's the way that the game has been set up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? How can you remember who you are? Right? If there wasn't like a challenge, if it was just easy, if somebody just gave you a plate and said, hey, this is who you are, take it, go, right? No, it's a process for a reason. You have to love the process. And you can say that for everything. And people are like, oh, wait, Trey, you don't know how hard it is. It hasn't been easy for me. I sit here in front of a microphone and say this in front of you now. Yes, I understand that the conditions are favorable for me. I'm warm. I'm not hungry. Like my basic security needs have been met. And I can say these things, right? But that is coming from an old paradigm of survival, right? I think when you step more into who you are, you step out of that survival mode of fight or flight and you start getting into mastery, self-mastery and creation. And so it's all new to me, but I have seen the effects through meditation and heart-centered practices where when I change the inner, like the fear and create more love, and it sounds so cliche and I hear myself saying that, but when I can do that, like my relationships change. My reality starts to change around me. It isn't always favorable, but I can appreciate it more. And I know what it's trying to do for me as a soul, as a consciousness, as a piece of consciousness.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have to turn inwards and then outwards.
Yeah, it's a balance too. It's like, you don't want to
Yeah.
create duality of just the inner game or just the outer game. It's a balancing of both, like you have to understand that the reality in what you see is a mere reflection of your inner.
Yeah.
And people say that all the time. And they're like, what do that doesn't make any sense. It does. If you have anger inside of you, you're going to experience your relationships as angry. You're going to experience hostile environments. Jeff Thompson, the teacher that I was talking about, expresses this in his life and has shown what that looks like for him. And even me as well. Like I have, the more I change inside, I see how my relationship with people that I've had, tension with in the past have changed. I see how I see them from where they're at. I meet them where they're, where
Mhm.
one that I'm at, and then two, I can see where they're at. And so there's a more of a compassion component to that of like, all right, man, I know where you're like, I've been there. I get it. I know why you hate me. I get it, but I'm not going to feed into that hate, like I'm just going to I'm just
Yeah.
going to sit here the best that I can and like, just be.
Well, I find it quite funny because you can get closure on the things you experience, because your soul is always providing you with people that are triggering you, or in the situations where you do not want to be because you've been there like 10 times before. But what did you experience and what did you gain from that, because your soul is so smart. It keeps dropping these people or situations on your path until you make closure on the things you wanted to experience. And even then, Trey, even then, when you think you have closure, you're on the next level. Boom, there he comes again, on a different level, of course. But I love the soul. I love how it provides me with all these experiences that I want to experience, and with all the people that I meet. I can see it now, because if I look at it that way, and just what you say also, your reality can change, but it comes from within, because you are changing. You are seeing the game that is playing, the people who are playing that role for you, and the soul that just wants to experience and bring everything home. And then your reality you project outside yourself is definitely changing. It, yeah, life is wonderful.
Life is wonderful because it is the ultimate teaching.
Yes.
The teacher is the ultimate teacher. I love that. Sonja,
Yeah.
I loved every second of this conversation. I hope you
Is
have,
it
because I feel like
over?
I feel like I've talked. I feel like I've talked the entire time. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I have.
I did. I really did. And I still do.
How can
I
people
want to
find
th-
you?
how can people find me? Well, I live in the Netherlands, so
How can they connect
I
with you online?
yeah, I have a website, and I have Facebook, I have Instagram, so they can definitely find me if they want to connect. You have my address of my website, of course. So
I will post it in the details.
yeah.
Lastly, right, I want to close this from the heart space. Mm. What would you like to share from the heart with the audience right now?
Well, these are words for you, Trey. Yeah. I really want to thank you from speaking from your truth, from your heart, and putting a smile on your face when you just realize what you've said. You felt it, every word of it. So I want to thank you for this beautiful conversation, this meeting with you. I got to know a little bit more of you, who you really are. And you just need to let it out.
Well, I won't run away from you. Like your colleagues did. I will allow you to see me for who I am and receive that beautiful statement. And I'll keep bothering you for
Sure do.
forever.
Please do. Yeah. We keep
Sonja,
in
thank you
touch.
so much. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Trey.